Hello, this is the TradeSite US Stocks and Futures Market Preview for the week beginning Monday, February 1st, ending Friday the 5th, 2016. Hope you had a good trading week. Look at the ES front month futures contract, closes out the week well off the lows. This starts to look like a double bottom in the market compared to August lows, although it did it rather unceremoniously, I'll be honest. That bottom day certainly had a lot of volume to it, but the VIX never really got as high to indicate capitulation and panic as you'd like to think you'd see for a double bottom. So I don't know. We'll see what we get here still. Let's go through what the indices and everything did on Friday. Crude oil closing up 52 cents at 33.75, making its way back towards that green static trend line. Appears to be around 38. That would be the target right now. Gold up 80 cents, holding near highs from the last couple of months. We had a big gap up, and then we kept going. So the S&P is up 46.88, but you'll see a lot of that was the gap. It was a pure gap and go day, and I'll tell you right now, on a Friday that's also month end when you're trying to print statements and they've already got everything usually priced where they want it, it's kind of unusual to see a gap and go day like this. And I have some thoughts on that we'll get to in a moment. NASDAQ 100 also up 93.11 points. I think what you got to think about here while we've got these two charts up is, take a look at where we ended up for the month. Okay, remember, this is the month end statement. So if I go back and I look now at the last day of December, we closed the S&P at 2043. So here we are at 1940. So we've recovered off the lows over 100 points, right? Basically 50% of that drop is recovered. Most of it, a lot of it in the action from today. And if we look at the NASDAQ side, closing out the end of last year at 45.93 and now here at 42.79. So again, 314 points off the close of last month. But again, the low at 39.92 is another almost 300 points down. So we've recovered half of the move from the high to the low in December. A lot of it just in this last closing action here on Friday. That's interesting because it makes me feel like somebody didn't want the statements to print down there at the bottom of the month and really show off how poor the month had been. If that's the case, if they were kind of manipulating it upwards for that, maybe we're still going to get a bigger sell-off. Here's a look at the SOX index up 26 and change. Obviously, this taking it back up quite a bit. It's barely down for the month if you look at it now. Biotech's up 39. Now, this is not so pretty. This has been ugly. It's led the way down. As go banks and biotech, so goes the market. And it certainly does not look pretty there at all, even though it's up a little bit today. The VIX down 2.22. Remember, only got to 32 on that bottoming day in the market. So usually like to see it get over 40 like it did in August. So that's not capitulation. Just keep that in mind. If we roll over again, bottom may not be in. Trend 0.69 for the close. That's a 1.16 10-day moving average of the trend. That does not really tell us much at all at that number. Volume on the NASDAQ, 2.3 billion shares, best of the week on a Friday for the end of month. Again, very unusual stuff. Yes, we had some earnings and whatnot late the day before, so that adds to volume. But to get the gap and go like we did is still very unusual. So again, looking back at this week, what did we say coming in? We said Monday probably a little slow because people are still digging out from back east in the storm. Tuesday, and look at that, Monday is the lightest volume day of the week. Tuesday, not much better, and it starts a Fed meeting. Wednesday is the actual Fed meeting. We didn't expect that to be overly exciting. Everybody waits till the announcement the last 2 hours, which they did. And then Friday we thought was going to be unexciting and ended up, gap and goes are not our favorite type of day from a trading perspective, but there was some movement. So we said to focus on Thursday, and Thursday is the day I really feel like we sort of nailed everything. Really, really good, made the week. Although we had, winners all week long, but it was definitely Thursday you could have made the easiest money. Advanced decline ratio for Friday, plus 1870 on the NASDAQ, which is really high, plus 2464 on the New York, almost the highest of the last year, one of the 3 highest days of the last year in terms of market breadth to the upside. Google closing up 13, looking very, very positive here. On the other hand, Apple up 3 1/4 just to get back to 97.34, so it's still under $100. Amazon taking a hit off of earnings, down $48.35, closing at $587. Still closed near the higher part of the range for the day. Netflix down 2.57, not looking great overall. So that's where we're at in terms of the indices and everything else going in to the new week. Now here's a look at the 10-minute chart of the ES for the week. And again, you can see last Friday to Monday, flat opening, kind of curled a little lower, came back over lunch, and then sold off later in the day. That was the light volume day. Look at the volume, even in the futures was poor. Nobody was around because of the storm. Tuesday, the gap up, little pullback, never filled it there, kept going higher. Now you're into the Fed meeting. So basically after the first hour on Tuesday, Rest of the day was very flat in about a small, maybe 10-point range tops. Wednesday, small gap down, went a little lower, came back up. This is all before the Fed announcement. Made the highs there over going into lunch. Then you can see the Fed announcement where the tail spikes both ways, and then we headed down from there. That actually went all the way down low enough to fill the gap from Monday's close into Tuesday. Thursday, gap up, come down and fill, and then it even doesn't look that exciting, but it was still the better trading day. That first hour was really great. The gap up and a pure technical fill in a lot of stocks. We made some good money on Gilead and CELG on the downside, along with some others. And then Friday, we get the gap and go day, and that's the less interesting one. Gapped up, never looked back, market directions green, and it kept drifting up into the close. Like I said, pretty unusual for a Friday that's the end of the month. At the same time, here's the NASDAQ side. Follows the same pattern, but not quite as positive overall. Remember, when we look at the ES here, okay, hang on. Look at the ES here. It's actually up a decent amount for the week. I mean, closed just above 1890 and now at 1930, let's call it. Up almost 40 points for the week. Meanwhile, here's the NASDAQ, total for the week. It's only up about 20. Spent most of the time until late Friday in the red for the week and came back. All right, let's take a look at economic data coming out this next week and sort of see what we can roadmap for. Monday, PCE prices, that's a inflationary number, and then personal income and spending an hour before the bell. 30 minutes in, construction spending and ISM index, those can move the market. Tuesday, the only thing we have is in the afternoon, it's the auto and truck sales. Wednesday, MBA mortgage index, ADP employment change, ISM services, crude oil inventories. Thursday, a challenge of job cuts, initial and continuing claims, productivity, unit labor costs, factory orders, natty gas. Friday is a big one. Non-farm payrolls with the unemployment rate, that's a big number. Trade balance, also a big number. So we're going to have a lot of data Friday morning. So how do we roadmap for a week like this? Well, first of all, now we're into February, so whatever that was for end of month window statement printing is behind us. So we can have a pretty much more free-flowing trading week. We don't have a Fed meeting. We're past most of core earnings. That's out of the way. So it's just a wide-open trading week. There's some data along the way. The big data is on Friday, and that kind of helps. So, your usual trading week, if you don't have all these factors in the way, is Monday can be a little slow to start the week. Maybe not this time with the big move we got on Friday, and now we're in a new month so they can trade freely. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are usually the better days, and then Friday tends to slow down, but we've got all this data. So that means to me that really, unlike last week where I was really thinking we had to stay focused, mostly on Thursday's trading, this week I feel like it could be almost any day, several days opportunities. So we will be in the lab trying to help you out as usual. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal 12. And if you've not taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. If you do find these videos useful, please like them on YouTube. It does help us out. Have a great trading week. We hope all goes very well for you.